Hey, welcome to Jack Dodson'S Racing Insider News. I'm running in here at the last minute. Traffic's all backed up. We got to thank our marketing partners here. We got to thank WALTRIP Pressure White. Man, he's got a lot of cleaning to do on that truck after this weekend.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what, he's cleaning. He got to do a whole lot of repairing.
I'll tell you what his response was to me in a minute. Well, not on the air. Turn 2 Synthetics. I got to thank those guys for coming on board this year. Still a shout out to Dave Millard's Medical Relief Charity Golf Tournament. It'll be coming up real soon. You can sponsor more than one hole. Let's see. GRIER and Associates with Mean Dean Automotive. And you got a history on Moyot, or is it Moyot?
It's Moyot.
Moyot.
But when the Indians found this place, Moyot. That's not how it started.
How did it get?
The Indians stepped out into the off the little area they were in and stepped down, and the guy hollered, Moyot. That's the story I got from Dean. Okay.
All right. Got to thank Safety Clean, Performance Plus Motor Oil, Langley Speedway. I thank Bill, Chuck, all those guys for allowing us to do the show from here, and it really does feel like home here now. Bondurant Brother Distillery. One day Jack's gonna get us some samples, and we're gonna have some drink here. Mayhem Management, MPM Marketing, Black Acid Racing Apparel if you need t-shirts for your crew or hats. Shows presented by Gen X Motorsports with race development and race rental program. So if you need a ride, you got some money. I mean, they might even be able to do something with you, Jack.
Me.
Slinger Speed. Same thing if you need some shirts for your team, hats, that kind of stuff. VA 811. I think those guys have been with us for a few years now. Factory Canopies and Fluid Logic. And dinner is always provided by good old Papa John's. GAC, Great American Company. Garimoa Amaya.
Yeah.
So with that.
And don't forget, you missed one.
Who did I forget?
You missed our official barbecue supplier, Eddie Clark.
Yeah. What's up, Eddie? Yeah, that's right. The official barbecue.
So anyway, all right, let's talk about racing this past weekend. Go through some winners and whatever you want to say here. Up in the Cup Series, Christopher Bell got the win at Bristol on the dirt. That was pretty wild racing.
Wild racing all over this weekend.
But that was a pretty good race. The Truck Series race was won by Joey Logano. Up at Dominion Speedway. All right. At Dominion Speedway, late model race number 1, Mason Bailey won. Mm-hmm. Late model race number 2, Peyton Sellers got the win after a DQ. I'll get into that in a minute. Legends race number 1, Michael Weedell.
That's Weedy.
Weedy, okay. U-Cars, Cameron Ruggles. Dominion Stocks, Mike Lowe. And Legends, the second Legends race was won by Alex Hendricks. Down at Five Flag Speedway, the pro late model race down there, Dawson Sutton got the win. At Thompson Speedway in the Icebreaker 125, the Outlaw Modified race, Ronnie Williams got the win. And then we come to Langley Speedway. What a night of racing here at Langley Speedway.
It's exciting.
It was exciting. It was really exciting. In the Truck Series, which was probably that was the big race of the night.
Thanks, Robbie.
The Truck Series started out with 13, ended with 4.
It was like a sea of a junkyard over here in turn 3.
Yeah, one of the 4 didn't make it all the way around. So anyway, And so Jacob Carr ended up getting a win. First time back in the truck this year. He gets
in
a
a
win.
few years.
Oh, in a few years. In the karts, Danny Wyatt got the win. In the U cars, Hayden Sheldon. Super Streets was won by Landon Abbott. And the Enduros with Cody Bryant. And who won the late model races?
Connor Hall.
Connor Hall. He won both late model races.
He put a whipping on.
So he comes back to Langley Speedway and just.
I was surprised at how good he was in the second race. I expected him to run well. I didn't expect him to run that well.
Yeah, he did a great job and got both wins. All right, now, driver of the week.
First one of the year.
First driver of the week this year goes to Connor Hall. He gets the driver of the week. Now, everybody's going to probably raise hell and whatever else they want to do. They're going to come back and say, well, what happened to Chase Burrow? We voted Chase Burrow. Well, you did vote Chase Burrow, but he was disqualified, and that takes him off our list also. So he did not get driver of the week. All right. Now, 4 tickets to Martinsville Speedway this coming weekend for the Xfinity race and a meet and greet with Josh Williams. Josh Williams was busy, couldn't get with us tonight, so I'm gonna let Scott, even though he thinks he's somebody, I'm gonna let him pull the name. Everybody that got the answer to the question, the trivia question. The winner, everybody that got it right is in this container here. The winner, Scott's going to draw. All you need to do is get in touch with me or Scott so that we can get with Brian Morehouse with 811 to get you set up for your trip to Martinsville Speedway.
This is 4 tickets for Saturday's race, right?
For Saturday's race. 4 tickets for Saturday's race.
And a meet and greet with Josh Williams.
And a meet and greet with Josh Williams for the Xfinity.
At the 811 tent outside of the track. And if you hear carts, they got Hampton Roads Karting Club is their practice night. They're practicing out there behind us. So I don't know if you see some little carts going by.
All right. As soon as Scott finishes the pizza here, we're going to get the winner of this. I've mixed them up pretty good.
I mean, this pizza probably ain't as good as Showman's food he's got.
I know, we're going to talk.
Andrew. Julian Austin?
Julian Austin is the winner of the 4 tickets. So, Julian, get in touch with us if you're out there. If not, I will try to get a hold of you somewhere along the line, and we'll get you set up for the Xfinity race at Martinsville this coming weekend and the meet and greet. All right, let's move on here and go to our first guest. Since he's here with us already, let's bring the showman, Dan Crocker.
Yeah, let's play Dan's little video.
I'm Showman Dan, and I'm the crew chef for Ganassi Racing, and we're at Bristol, baby. Well, I'm the crew chef for the 42 and the 1 NASCAR Cup Series, 36 weeks a year, 38 events. My Blackstone goes with us everywhere we go. I feed between 60 and 120 people. After 120, that's it. Not that the Blackstone couldn't do it. I can't do it.
The highlight of my day is coming to see Showman.
We got a custom griddle. I have 2 tailgaters and 136. I usually do around 120 eggs. I'll do 100 sausage, 10 pounds of bacon, and I'll do French toast on the side, possibly with a full continental. And just as soon as I get that done, turn it around and we'll have lunch. And I'll usually end up doing 60 pounds of meat, 30 pounds of roasted red potatoes. I do it all on my Blackstone, every bit of it. The pit crews, their jacks, their guns, everything is very personal to them. My Blackstone is personal. It makes my job so easy. That's my tool when I get up and turn them on, and I'm ready to go. Got to get it done. These guys got to be fed. They got to go, and they can't be waiting. And the boys love it.
The week in and week out is always good. I mean, this is the business, best in the garage. This man right here. The food is always great.
It's my job to make sure that Chip Ganassi's race team gets fed, and without my Blackstone, I couldn't get it done. I love my Blackstone.
I thought it was going to play again. What's up, Dan? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, how you guys doing tonight?
We're doing great. How's everything down your neck of the woods?
Hey, I'll tell you what beautiful weather we're having.
Yeah.
We're having great weather. It's great.
Yeah, until the weekend comes and then it starts raining again.
Wherever we are, you can bet one thing, it's got a chance of raining.
Well, I think we got a chance this weekend, a little bit, not much of one, but a little bit of a chance of rain in Martinsville. So that's
Well, I think we got enough last week.
Yeah.
So how's it going?
Good, but I regret mine and Jack's decision not to get some food when we left you last time.
Right?
They had in the media center wasn't that good.
Oh, well, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. We all try.
Yeah, well, I would say all the time it's not better.
Right.
Dan, why don't you give us a little background how you got started in all this?
Well, actually, I started out as a CDL driver. I was driving hauling race cars at the Jeff Gordon Racing School. And then I ended up moving over to Turner Motorsports. And I used to do a lot with Ricky Carmichael for a couple years, 2.5 years. I done all the truck series and his motocross and stuff with him and his photo shoots and all that. And that's probably where the showman Dan came in. All CDL drivers have a nickname. We got Bones, we got Speedball, and obviously, you know me, it wasn't going to be Legs. So it ended up being Showman.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's pretty cool.
So where did it come from?
It actually came from doing the shows when I was at Turner Motorsports.
Okay.
Yeah, I do a lot of stuff other than the shows, and everybody knew me as Showman Dan, and it's stuck, and it's been there ever since, and I've been 15 years now.
Well,
Yep.
You put on
Go ahead.
You put on a heck of a spread there the other day when we were there.
Well, you got to do the best you can. Remember, we're in a field with a griddle, I should say. I don't use grills. I use a griddle. Kind of hard to crack them eggs on the grill.
Yeah.
I tried it first couple times. It didn't work. So anyway, I was a CDL driver over to Turner's, and Turner needed a chef for 5 K&N teams. So I started over there cooking with Mike Gricci. And then when Turner closed down, they had an opening at Ganassi Racing. And I went over and done a tryout. Basically, I had went over there and cooked for the office and pit crews and stuff. And I ended up getting hired, and I've been there going on 9 years.
That's a very lucrative thing for you to be able to go over and get to work for Ganassi, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yes. That was good times. But I couldn't be happier being with Trackhouse. They are phenomenal people. They're a class act, and everybody's got it together.
Now, Dan, obviously by your, we're listening to you talk, and, I honestly believe
He's not from North Carolina?
I believe you're from Alabama or somewhere like that, right?
Right. I parked the car just west of Montgomery. I park it in the backyard.
About how many people do you feed on a weekend?
Now, with our sponsorship, now we have a lot more people, I should say. I usually work alone, but I got a friend, Dave Hudson. He helps me a lot. He's going to do probably around half the races this year, which makes it easier for me. I mean, I do on a busy weekend, I'm doing probably 150 to 200 people by myself. Normally, I do up to 100 easy enough.
Wow!
But it's all prep and time management. This job is you got to have. I always tell people you got to have a few issues, OCD and ADHD and all that. It's a task. You got to be able to multitask all the time in order to get it done and make sure it's ready for everybody and not just one.
And you get there before everybody else does, right?
Oh yes, we get up early. All of us are up by 4:30 if we have a breakfast. We're all there by 5 and getting it done so that when the guys get there, they can get some breakfast. A lot of times they don't have time. We have to end up making breakfast sandwiches or whatever and send them. But normally we get there at usually around 5, so we can get it all done.
But don't you get there a day before?
Oh, we do. We get there and have to set it all up. My kitchen gets shipped there by Champion, and then I set it all up. We all do. We set up our kitchens, we get them ready, and we go shopping when we get there. Everybody asks, where do you get your food? Well, like everybody else, we go shopping when we get there. And then we come back and we work out of coolers. We don't have refrigerators, of course, so we work out of coolers. And I'm very touchy with my coolers. People looking for drinks, and they open up my coolers. I say, come on, folks. I don't walk into your house and open your refrigerator. Please don't open my coolers.
Right.
But no, that's what we do on a normal weekend. We get there, like I'll get there this Thursday and get all set up, and then we'll go shopping and get ready, and we'll go from there. Schedules are very change all the time.
How do you decide what to cook?
There you go. One of the main things that I do, I go by the weather. I never make a menu ahead of time because the weather changes so much. And the worst thing you want to do is tell somebody you're going to have something and they look forward to it, and then you can't have it due to weather. In other words, I don't like to cook hot food when it's 90 degrees out or 100. I always cook, hand food, colder food, and then when it's cold, obviously I do hot foods. It's really controlled by the weather, my menu. I have a pretty extensive menu for what we have out there. You only got so much of a food groups, meat groups and stuff that you can work with, and definitely put it together when I get there, and everybody seems to be happy so far.
Well, I was back there watching. Everybody looks happy when they come around to eat with you. I know that.
I know one thing. If I was on the other side, I'd be happy.
Now, is there no competition between you and Andrew? I mean,
Oh, come on, Andrew's fishing for sure, man.
He's one of my best friends, and and really the whole kitchen thing it'd be like a doctor talking about a doctor. You just don't do that. We all work hard. We all can't be perfect. Menus vary with each person, and we help each other as much as we can. If we have extra, we see if they need it, vice versa. We all really work together. And I tell you, you got to. There's only 5 of us out there, and we have to work together in order to make it work. And, like I say, he's a big help to me. He can be a pain in the butt to me, but he's very helpful.
Well, I can see the pain in the butt part. I can see that part.
No, he isn't. He's very funny.
I know.
He turned out to be a great friend.
I think that's why they get along so well.
Yeah, tell me about it. Well, it's good that you guys that do the cooking and stuff, y'all work together as much as you can to keep everything going. I mean, that little group back there that you got, that's you guys are there all the time. Don't see racing, don't see all that stuff, and you're back there cooking. I mean, it's got to be cool,
right?
To have the friends back there with you and helping you out.
Yes, sir. And now this year last year and this year, I have 3 TVs on my cooking cart. So basically, I can watch the race while I'm cooking and all the practicing and all that. And I have it for my guest on my cooking cart. That video that we showed with Blackstone, I still use Blackstone. I love them. But my cooking cart is above and beyond the cooking carts that I designed it and they built it, and I couldn't be happier.
I mean, y'all set up. I mean, yours and Andrew's. I mean, y'all's are all custom made.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it is pretty nice. I mean, you got to be honest. For what you would think that somebody just coming in and setting up. I mean, but you guys are doing this every weekend, so it's kind of like a concert. You guys are designed for this stuff.
Yes, we are. We do 38 weeks, 36 weeks, 38 events, and we only have 1 weekend off in a year. So we got to be tuned in.
Wow.
So when during the race do you
go ahead?
When during the race do you start breaking down, or is it after the race, in the middle of the race?
No, actually, I start when I feel like I'm getting to the end of the people. I will start doing cleaning then, because I have to get to the plane also. So if I don't get my stuff cleaned, I have to clean every little thing and pack it. and get that thing ready to ship. And if I'm not ready, they're going to be waiting for me at the plane. And I don't think that's going to make them happy after a long day. But normally I can get it done within 3 hours. That's cleaned and packed. Another 3 hours. But, you know, I'm used to it now. And it's people want to help sometimes, but got such a routine. I've been doing it so long by myself until I started getting David to help me more frequently.
Yeah, it's got to be cool to have Champion come in and move your stuff and get the stuff back and forth. I mean,
It is. You
don't have to worry about.
Yeah, it's the best thing that ever happened. We don't have to worry about moving it. We know it's going to be there. It's going to be in the appropriate position to where it's supposed to be, and go from there.
Wow, that's.
Now, I'd imagine on your side of it, you probably meet a lot of celebrities that come through the garage.
I do, and I tell you, I love it every time I see. Like a couple weeks ago, we had Jesse James. I have a lot of guests in because of my ownership with the ownership that we have. They have a lot of celebrity friends. So Pitbull and Justin. So I get to feed them. I enjoy it. I enjoy meeting them, and it's great. I love it. I tell you, I couldn't be happier than being with Trackhouse. I was looking to retire, but boy, they're making it hard.
I was going to be one of the next questions.
Now, you know, up at Richmond, you got to meet a couple big celebrities up there, didn't you?
Richmond, who was it? Oh, yes, I did. You two.
I can't believe you figured that out. In our own minds, Dan. In our own minds.
You know, we learned a lot. I learned a lot by standing there talking with you while we were up there that day. I mean, you got a lot going on, and you have a lot of responsibility to get those people fed.
I couldn't do it.
It is, and I tell people, I go, you know, I'm pretty adamant about my timing and stuff because, like I say, prep work and timing is what it's all about. And when them guys come early or people come early, I tell them, I say, we really have to go by my schedule because I can't stop and get stuff for you because when you do that, you're backing me up, and then I'm going to not be ready for everybody else. So I'm pretty adamant. When I say 11, it's 11. It's not 10:59. I can guarantee you that.
Going back to the celebrity thing, do you have a favorite that you've got to meet?
Wow, there's so many of them. I tell you.
Or you were like amazed by?
I don't know if there's. I don't know. I've been around a lot of celebrities throughout my time, so really, I really couldn't say if anybody really, I was amazed at. They all are great. They're appreciative, and I get and I get a lot of return people sometimes at certain tracks, and I guess I've done from Carrot Top to Jesse James. I mean, in between, there's just so many of them from these TV shows and stuff that I really have a good time with it. I enjoy meeting them.
I bet it's interesting. Pitbull and all them show up there and eat. I bet that's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. They bring a lot of good celebrities.
Yeah, but there ain't a dull moment with him because he seems like a very hyper guy.
He's so down to earth. It's crazy.
Is that right?
You would never know. And that's the thing with Justin Marks. He's the same way. You would never know. He's just so laid back and so easy to work with. Always thoughtful. And it's just so the management team that we have, all the way from Justin to Ty to Tony Lunders and all of them, it's quite a foundation that we have.
And it's interesting you talk about Justin, right? Because Justin, I mean, he's really kind of come on the scene pretty quickly, right? Compared to the traditional status of somebody getting into the Cup Series. But he's brought a different way of doing business, right? It's like you don't know another way until somebody does it or until you try it. And he's really
I'm amazed at some of the stuff he comes up with.
I mean, it's really amazing. And it's great to see this new way of entertainment, right? And how he's bringing dollars to the show, and it's a great job. And he's, picked two good guys that I think are well-deserved in the sport. I mean, you really can't. I don't know. It's just pretty neat how he's just brought different ways of bringing business, and it's unorthodox, right? You got the race team in Charlotte, and then the home office is in what, Nashville?
Right, Franklin, Nashville.
So it's just that normally that's just not the case, but he makes it work, right?
Right, he does, and and every week you don't know what to expect. I mean, there's things that they do that nobody else has thought of, or I wouldn't even think of. And we got something new coming up this week at the track that no other team has. That's going to be put out, and it's just like every week I see something different, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And I see that some of the other teams are catching on to what he's doing, and they're kind of forming some of the stuff that we're doing into their teams. So it's working.
No, without a doubt, it's working.
Yeah, it's working all over. It's working real good.
Yeah, it really is. We got great sponsors, beautiful vehicles. The vinyl every week is just amazes me how nice looking our vehicles are, as well as going. These guys work hard. I mean, our whole team is such hard workers, all the way from the people that wash the bathrooms to cleaning the floors to go to the track, and they're all great people and they work hard.
Are y'all filling it? Well, yeah, because y'all in the Ganassi building, right?
Right.
Is that what the IndyCar building too? Wasn't that IndyCar?
No, Indy is the building in Indianapolis is similar to this one, but we've never done Indy out of here. It was always Cup.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had Justin, as a driver back when I was with Ganassi.
Yeah.
I knew Justin from driving when he was driving for us.
Mm-hmm.
Or I say Ganassi.
Yeah.
And, I knew him from then, and then when he come on board, I knew he had a good racing background. He brought to the table. He knew what the deal was, and I tell you what a smart guy.
Really
I mean,
is.
the business side of it has been phenomenal, right?
He is.
I'm excited about the Cars Tour. We're having him, Kevin Harvick, which is really good business guy, Dale Jr. to bring some, and then I think Jeff to bring some, this is what we need. No, that's a little too crazy kind of thing. I don't think you could get 4 better people really in different aspects of the business to help with that program.
I don't believe you could. It is amazing. If anybody can pull it together, they can.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Dan, we appreciate you spending some time with us tonight, and maybe we'll see you up in Martinsville this weekend.
That would be great. Come on up. I'll have something for you to eat. Won't be a Martinsville hot dog, I can tell you that.
We're not going to say no this time.
Yeah,
Okay.
we learned our lesson.
There you go. Well, I appreciate you having me on, and we'll be looking for you at a track down the road.
All right, man. We'll be talking to you soon.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
I mean, he is a really great guy, right? I mean, he's funny. He's funny as hell. Let's get that on. So we forgot to talk about the first moment when he introduced me. He asked me, "Who did he ask me? Did I know?"
Oh,
the baseball.
Carl Yastrzemski. You did not know who Carl Yastrzemski was.
Right.
That's a shame.
What did he say about it needing a skirt or something?
Yeah. But I guess to be a cook on this NASCAR circuit when they go, think of the people like we all know.
Adapt with.
We all know Andrew's crazy, and and now we got Dan. But how about we had Spanky?
Spanky, oh yeah.
Well, Spanky was,
he was a character.
He still is a character.
Yeah, it was true.
But anyway, I think that's really cool. And anyway, all right, we're going to have Vincente is next, but buddy, we'll be with you in just a few minutes. We had you for 7:45, so we'll be with you in just a few minutes. All right, let's get Vincente on here.
How you say that, Jack?
I'm going with Vincente. How do you say it?
That's pretty close. My full name is Vicente Salas, and my nickname is Chente.
Well, I'm gonna go with Vicente. I ain't gonna call you Chente because I don't know. I ain't going there. Now, look, man, you got it going on down at Hickory. I mean, I saw you win a race down there not too long ago. Been running up front the whole time down there. How did you get started in racing?
So my dad has been in motorsports for basically all his life. He did photography for IndyCar and NASCAR. He raced motocross himself, and it was always on the TV. It was always what I wanted to do, and I was like, Dad, I want to go racing. I want to go racing. Every year, every so often, I'd be begging my parents to go racing. And finally, when I was 15, I got my shot at racing a shifter kart and kind of made my way through there. I joined the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series professionally online. And then through that, I found, some opportunities in late model racing. And now we're here somehow. So I'm really grateful.
Oh, you got a lot going on down there. Now, are you driving for your team, or are you driving for somebody else?
So I drive for Justin Carroll in the late model stock.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. You got a pretty good mentor there to help you out.
Oh yeah, he's been so awesome. And really my only other start or time in a stock car was in a pro late model with Donnie Wilson. And I can't say enough good things about his team. They're awesome, but those cars are so different. The pro late model turns a little bit better, a little bit less power. Late model stock is heavier, it's got more power, so you're kind of having to manhandle it a little more. And Justin's been super, super good in training me up, and my friend Josh Cossack and Blaze Jacob Hefner, and I can't say enough good things about that team. They've really helped me along, and I'm just super excited to keep it rolling.
Well, I mean, and to be racing at a place like Hickory, and I mean, this is what your first full year of running late models, right?
Yes, sir.
To come out and win a race that early, this fast, has got to be a big deal for you. I mean,
What was that like winning your first race?
It was honestly, it felt like a fever dream. I mean, it all happened in a flash. We're sitting there, we're running second. I was really happy and content running second. I mean, we finished second in the first one, got the invert, and made our way through. And I was like, okay, we're gonna finish second. Great, this is good points, especially after opening night. And the caution came out, and I was like, hey, Josh, is our race done? And he's like, no, we got a green, white, checkered. And he told me before the restart, it ain't over till it's over. And we made it happen. So it was just really, really cool. I don't think I've still processed it. I don't think I'll ever process it completely.
Mm-hmm. Well, what was it like to go back after you had that win, to go back to Hickory? And now Hickory is a famed and legend track. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Now you are a Hickory winner. So, I mean, that's a huge thing. What was it like to go back down there after you've done won a race, to go back and try to run again? I mean, knowing that you have won a race at Hickory.
I think, definitely a lot of lessons learned, how to position yourself, what to do in those kind of situations. But it also gave me, a bit of confidence, not in a bad way, but like we showed up the next week and we were like, hey, we know if we're up front, we can really play for this win. And, these guys, we've been pushed around. We were still pushed around that race, but, I kind of like learned and kept it to myself, like, hey, I can't let these guys push me around. I might be a rookie here and I'm going to be a rookie the whole year, but that doesn't mean I can't improve from lessons learned and, race smarter and harder. So it was definitely a really, really cool experience.
How you said they were pushing you around a little bit. I mean,
did you do some pushing around to get the win?
Did you push back some?
I mean, I didn't really push back when I was getting the win because Michael Bumgarner raced me so clean. I can't, say how much respect I have for him. He's an awesome race car driver. But the second race 2 weeks ago, everyone was just leaning on each other. They were coming off the corner just crossed up, and I was kind of sketched out. And then once I got up there and I was getting leaned on, I was like, okay, I'm used to go-karts. We don't have fenders there, and having fenders, might as well use them. So you started to kind of push people out on entry, use them up on exit through the center. And I mean, it was fun. It was really elbows out, and it was definitely an experience I'll take to the next one.
You're ready to do the bump and run on a few of them now to get back to the front, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've been trying to learn the craft of that, barely moving them up and not wrecking them, but, kind of pushing them up the racetrack. Because in go-karts, you can't do that. It's open wheel. If you hit wheels or you hit fenders or side pods or whatever, like, you're getting some air. So it's definitely been an adjustment, not being able to see all the fenders and everything around the car.
Yeah, I can understand that. Now, what are you looking to do the rest of the year? Are you going to run all at Hickory, or are you going to be doing anything else?
We definitely plan on running all of Hickory. I'd like to go run some races at Tri-County and Ace, and maybe if a Cars Tour race comes into play and that's in the cards, I'd love to do that. That Cars Tour series is so incredible, and with the new ownership, they're doing such amazing things, and I'd love to be a part of it. So that's definitely something I'm eyeing for this year at some point.
That'd be cool to do. And how about any of the big races, the big money races at the end of the year? Martinsville, Southern National, those places. Have you thought about those yet?
I've definitely thought about it. I went to Southern National when they were testing there for the cars, or just to kind of hang out and try and learn. And that track looks super, super fun. I might want to run there, depending on how we do throughout this year. I think I'd really like to run the Rodney Cook at Ace. That race looked super fun last year. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to keep seeing how we progress and learn, because I'm still super new to this, and those money races, the big guys show up for them. So I don't want to, be out to lunch.
Well, I mean, you got to go in there and cut your teeth a little bit to see what it's like to be at a place like Martinsville. Your first couple trips to Martinsville will probably be a very big learning thing for you.
Absolutely. I'm really good friends with Caden Honeycutt, and then obviously Jacob Hefner is my teammate. And, talking to them about Martinsville and how argy-bargy it is, especially in the heat races, because so many cars get knocked out from running the main race. It's definitely something I'd love to do, because I think you learn so much in such a quick time, because everyone's racing hard to get in the race. So, whether I'm racing there, I definitely want to just be there in general to watch at least.
And Martinsville is a completely different type of track than you're going to probably run on a lot. So, I mean, that'll be a big deal there.
Absolutely.
Well, tell us a little bit about who all helps you with your car, sponsors your car and everything. Tell us a little bit about all that, and give them a shout out.
So first off, I got to thank God for, really putting me in this position. I think, with my belief in him, and, the way my relationship has grown with him over the last few years, I can't say enough about, Christianity and what I believe in. He's really instilled the confidence in me and walked with me through this whole journey, because a few years ago, I would have been really nervous and really scared to do this, but he's helped me, gain the confidence to take this next step in my career. So there's that. Miramar Financial has been with me for my whole career since karting. They do private money and private equity loans and all that kind of stuff. They are absolutely incredible. I've seen the deals and the things they've done, and they are top notch. So yeah, I mean, I can't thank all them. Carroll Speed Shop, my whole family, and just everyone that supports me.
Well, man, go out there and get some more wins out there at Hickory this year, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you guys so much for having me. Y'all have a great night.
You too. Thanks for being on.
Thanks, bud.
Thank you.
Got a shout out to Shannon Lester. I seen he's back in the hospital again. I hope you're doing well. So he's watching from the hospital.
I saw that. Hope it don't make you sicker.
He's probably glad he wasn't in the truck race this weekend.
Yeah, that was an amazing. I mean, I don't think any truck made it through 3 and 4 that time when they went through there, except them 4 that probably got hit too as they were going through. But anyway, All right, let's bring. I know how to say this guy's name right here. I know his name.
You sure?
Yeah, I've been around this. I've seen this guy race many times. I've seen him around for a long time. Let's bring Buddy Isles on here. Buddy Isles Jr., I should say.
What's up, buddy? Turn your mic on. There you go.
I got it. How y'all doing?
Good, hey, man. How's it going with you, man?
Doing pretty good. Y'all enjoying your pizza?
Well, he is. You see him eating it, right?
Hey, man. I was hungry.
What is this thing with you now going to go late model stock car racing this year? Getting away from the dirt a little bit.
I don't really have a good reason. I mean, I have some reasonings, but so just 7 years ago, we well, my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, we started a business in a new building, and the last 7 years, we now have 4 businesses in the same building, like 22 people, and I hadn't really had a lot of time to race, so I've run some dirt races. I've been racing now for, I don't know, 17 years. And in the last 7 years, I haven't raced much at all, maybe 2 or 3 a year. And I sold my dirt late model this year. And basically, I saw a car somewhere. I don't know where it was on Facebook. It was a red late model stock. And I was like, I'm going to go back to late model stock racing. I didn't tell my wife about it at first. I mean, because really didn't know what I wanted to do. And I sold my late model, and like the next week I brought it up and I was like, look, I think I want to go asphalt racing. You know, got a nice truck and trailer and everything. And I just get tired of, you know, having to wash the dirt car. Like it takes, I mean, it's 2 days worth of work to do it the right way. And we got a baby on the way. So she's due in like 6 weeks. And I think, you know, raising it's just more professional at the asphalt tracks. And Southern National doing a Sunday race. It was more, no late nights for the most part. And so that was some of the biggest reasons I decided to do it. I struggled with it back in it's been 11 years since I run asphalt, you know, back in 2012. And we struggled. I mean, we ran a bunch of late model stock stuff then, but we struggled with. I really didn't have no help on the setup. I mean, it's kind of just we were kind of winging it. And I ended up buying the car I have now from Mike Darn had it. Mike Darn Racing out of Charlotte, and Mike's stuff runs really good and talked to him. So we ended up buying the car from them and letting them do all the setup. And that's pretty much how we got where we're at. We're working around Southern National's first race and, you know, got rained out. So we went to Hickory the other week and just trying to get some seat time. So Mike ended up running some laps there, testing another car. So it was good to have him there. And those twin races, so we learned a lot throughout the day and night. Trying to get the car dialed in for the rest of the year.
So what is your schedule going to be like for the rest of the year? You going to run just those particular tracks, or are you going to be trying to go some other place?
I'm definitely going to run Southern National for sure because it's an hour from here. And, you know, a lot of my fans and crew and all, you know, it's closer for them because it's tough. I mean, to get people to pit crew now and I mean, the fan base, you know, people can't travel 2 or 3 hours. But, I mean, I like the traveling. I mean, I've traveled, I've been Maryland, Ohio, Tennessee, Georgia. I mean, I've been all over the country, St. Louis. I've probably been 20, 30 dirt tracks. I mean, I like that. I mean, I always like to go after the money or big races and unique races. I always like to do that. So I'm going to definitely run some other races this year. I really like to go to Martinsville just because of the history of the Fine 11 and all. I really like to go down there this year, but I want to maybe go to Dominion, maybe New River. New River's not far from me. And we just picked Hickory because that was the only thing open last weekend. So we were kind of on the fence right now what we're going to do.
Where are you based out of?
Littleton. So we're about an hour south of Richmond.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right down. We're just across the line. Right in 95. We're actually between 85 and 95.
But you know, but you got your dad was an awesome race car driver back in the day. You came along.
Did he lap you a lot too?
I didn't race against him. He was before me. I did go down there when Spec Edwards and all that group was racing down there, but you know, but you know, that the history's always been with the dirt. How do you determine? I mean, there's 2 different driving styles, really. So, I mean, have you spent enough time to figure out what all you need to do? I know you said you ran some back in the 2012, but I mean, and I look at you, I think dirt. So I know what you do. So
So like when I went back to Southern National this year, I told Mike this. I said, give me a good race car, teach me some driving things, show me the way. And I said, I'll drive the race car. I just need some guidance. And I went to Southern National, did a day test with him. And the cars now are actually a lot different than they were 11 years ago. They're on bump stops now. They drive better than what they did. And some things Mike taught me just that day testing with how to load the front bumps and driving through the center, and which I've struggled with the car at Southern National being tight a month ago. And Hickory, we were the same way. We couldn't get the car to turn, and we weren't really prepared for Hickory. It was just kind of last minute, and me and Mike talked about that. It's like next time, we'll go more prepared and actually do some testing. But it was just mainly get seat time. I mean, I started we were dead last. It was next to last, 22nd or something, 23rd, and I think we finished 14th. And then the second race we finished 9th. It really do nothing but just stay out of the wrecks. And I mean, got the nose to up a little bit, but I ended up driving the car. I had a guy spotting for me down there. I think it was Kenny Light. Yeah, I think that's right. Me and Kenny talked on the radio a lot because I was struggling through the center, and we changed it all day trying to get it to turn. And Kenny said, man, just drive it. Because, I mean, I understand. Like, I trail brake with my dirt car a lot. He said, try to just trail brake your car like your dirt car, you know, and see if it'll be better through the center. And do, like, the last 5 laps of the final race, I literally drove the thing just like I would drive my dirt late model. And it was, like, best thing ever. So it was like, I mean, I was like, well, dang, I could have done this, like, 80 laps ago. I mean, I didn't know. I mean, it was a little faster too. I was actually able to pass a car or two right at the end, and so I did learn that. But I mean, I think going from dirt to asphalt is probably easier. But these asphalt cars, I mean, they have to be on. I mean, if the car is off, it's off. I mean,
Right.
it's more forgiving.
Yeah, I mean, I think on dirt, I think a driver can overcome the car, right? You can be close and you can overcome it. Asphalt, you can't drive a slow car fast.
No,
You know, I mean, it just
no,
you
it's
can
not
get better, but you just can't make it fast.
Yes, and that's one thing I've like noticed about on dirt. I've had people, you know, mentor me or talk to me, and I mean, get out of the race car, and they're like, "What is it doing?" And I was like, "I don't know, man, because if it's off a little bit, like I know how to change my driving style to make up for it, and then I think it's fine." You know, I was like, "Well, shoot, that's pretty good," you know. But the asphalt, I told Mike, I said, "Man, this thing just to me is tight. Like I got a lot of wheel in it in the center." No matter what I do, I mean, I can slow down, you know, and it's just not turning through the center. I said, but that's just me thinking that. And if it's off, it's off. I mean, I was telling somebody, I said, man, they're pulling shims out the front end, you know, a 16th shim out of the box. And that's how small a change it makes in these cars. And I think a lot of people really don't understand that unless you've been around it. I mean, if you ain't got a crew chief, you're going to be in left field. You can't just start these cars and just think you're going to run with some of these guys. I mean, there's some great teams out there.
Right. I mean, it's almost like the dirt guys coming into Bristol thinking that they're going to whip these, you know, cup guys, and they've been running these cars all. You're not going to do it. You might run well.
Yeah.
Beat those guys.
Yeah, and I mean, because they still drive them. I mean, for the most part, them cup guys drive them cars pretty straight.
Right.
I mean, and you look at some of these, and I noticed this at Hickory. And that's how I knew I was pretty much tight. I said, these guys come off the corner. I got wheel in it. These guys come off the corner. I'm watching the guys in front of me, and they've got it hung out a little. I mean, it don't come off straight to a point. And I think they're really fast like that to a point, you know. But I mean, you shouldn't have, like, I had wheel in it come off the corner, and Hickory is real. I mean, it's a fun place to race. I mean, I've never been there. I never seen the track, but it's a fun place to race. It's got a lot of character in the track, and I like that. I mean, in qualifying, they were freaking out because I had it hung out, come off forward, and they were like, "You about to loop that thing out?" And I was like, "It's like I was fine." Like I was just sending it. I mean,
but you're used to that, right? You know.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, to me, I was like, I mean, I had foot in it, and I was hanging it out like I was giving it all I can. I mean, and I think everybody there was like, what, man, you had that thing sideways like it was broad. I was like, man, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't. To me, it was. And I don't know what it looked like, you know, outside the car. But
what was it like for your dad I mean, your dad, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I always think only thing he's run is dirt.
Yes. He only run one asphalt race that I know of. And he took one of Bobby Creech's modifieds that somebody had there, and they put him in it. And he ended up, I mean, he was really good in the car. It was a story about that. It was kind of funny. I remember because I was a kid. They did it, and he said somebody didn't have no power or something to come in, and ended up changing the oil the next week because they did, you know, we're picky about maintenance and all. And we were at Bobby's shop working. They changed the oil and drained the oil, and they was like, this thing has got like a lot of oil. And Bob, he's like, you put oil in? Bob said, no. Ended up being like 16 quarts in it, and he raced it like that.
Ugh.
I mean, it was like somebody added oil at some point in time when it was sitting in the shop, and he raced it, and that's probably why I didn't have no damn power, I guess. I don't know.
Good.
I thought it was kind of funny, but he I think he come from last. I don't think we raced it like I don't know if it was South Side or where we went. It was back when Kenny Wilson and Billy Marsh and all was together. And they didn't come from the back and ended up finishing like top 10. He ended up passing like 10, 15 cars. But he raced dirt. I mean, he's 72. He's raced dirt since he was 8 on go-karts all the way up until about, he was probably 60 when he stopped for the most part, I think it's so.
Now, he was around for a long time, and I tell you, that iconic car that he drove, that red car that he had down at Brinkleyville or whatever you want to call it, Halifax, whatever. I mean, he was the man down there. I mean, I enjoyed watching him race.
Oh yes, I mean he won right. He won I think this is like 2000 to 2003. He won 63 races out of 65. It was, and I mean, it was just unreal. I mean, we had incredible years, and just right now he was Kings back then. It was in Henderson, and it was Clary's at some point in time or Brinkleyville, and then I started in 05, and I told people all the time, I said, man, we raced not in 05 because it was my first year, but my second year when I was 16, I said we raced 50 races in 1 year. We run a Friday and Saturday every weekend, and some weekends they had like a Sunday race or a Thursday race, and we just raced. I mean, a lot. But now I was like, man, well, I don't even race 10 races a year. You know, I didn't race 10 races in the last 10 years or a year. But them 60 was tough.
But go back and look at, you and I are just talking about, I know this don't have anything to do with your racing, but go back and look at it. Back in those days, I mean, they raced 3 or 4 times a week. Yeah. And everywhere, they would go everywhere. I mean, I remember Spec would go Friday night one place, Saturday night one, and he'd go to Salute on Sunday. And
How come you didn't go?
because I was too young to drive. See, I got a smart aleck working with me. See,
I thought you were going to be honest and say you weren't good enough to do that.
But your dad has done a lot of things in racing. At one time he was down there at Halifax. He was running Halifax one time.
Yeah, he was a flagman at like County Line for a long time.
I remember him flagging. Yeah.
I mean, he was director back in Brinkleyville when it was like champion. I got pictures in the like early 90s. He was the director. He wasn't even racing then. Some point in time in the early 90s when I was a baby. And then he ended up with running it, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. He ran it for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. I remember that. Because I came down there a couple times and talked to him when I was down there. He's been around for a long time, but those were the good old days back in those days. I loved every minute of those days. And I remember one time when he was flagging at county. Didn't he flagged at County Line?
Yeah, he flagged there for a year.
I remember one time somebody tried to climb the flagpole, flag stand after him.
Yeah.
And I saw him kick him with his foot, trying to keep him still flagging the race.
Yeah, he ain't gonna put up with that. It was different back then. I tell people now, I mean, it's racing. I mean, somewhat it's not to me because I've been around a long time. I mean, I say it's not as enjoyable as it used to be. It was more fun back then because you could do a lot more and go a lot more places. I mean, and it's tough to run a racetrack. I mean, I understand. I mean, even when Jack Tant was running, I mean, they were traveling to like Trenton, New Jersey. When they were running the Fly 11 back then, and they were up and down the East Coast everywhere, and they were racing 3 or 4 times a week because it was, it was a lot of racetracks back then. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, Southern National running on Sundays is pretty good. I mean, I like that. So you can run a Saturday race or a Friday. I mean, you could run 3 days that weekend if you wanted to.
That's a lot of traveling and a lot of wear and tear to do 3 days these days. I mean, that's gonna be tough.
Oh yeah, I mean tires and everything. I mean, it's just everything. It'll get expensive. I mean, for sure.
When you were coming along and your dad was racing and everything, how much interaction did you have with Joe Huss?
I didn't. I mean, I just know Joe from just being local. I didn't really see Joe at the racetrack that much. I mean, I talked to him some, I don't know, 7-8 years ago when he was running a little bit. I've been in the shop a few times back then. But I didn't really see him that much. I mean, I saw more of like Montclair and JC,
Yeah.
Kent Wright and them. I mean, I talked to them a lot. I mean, there's a lot of guys that still come to the racetrack, but Joe didn't really. I mean, I didn't see him much. I mean, he didn't come to the racetrack much. He still raced some the last, like 10 years ago. He was still running a late model.
Yeah. I remember that.
I think they still got his car, and I think they kept his car. Well, did have the car at one point in time in the shop, because the shop's like, I mean, it's 10 miles up the street where he's at.
Yeah. Hey, look, didn't you go out to St. Louis and run in the Coliseum out there? I mean, run in the whatever you call it. The dome race?
Yeah, that's kind of what ended my dirt late model stuff, because I flipped my car over and totaled it, and it won't ever right since. But yeah, so we went up there. I like the short track stuff. I mean, I told my engine guy, my chassis guy, same guy, Chuck Smith out of Tennessee. I said, man, we need to get a motor. So he got me a SB2 motor, and he said, this thing's gonna be right. It's gonna be good enough to win the race. I said, give me a motor. Let's put a setup in this thing, and I said, I'm gonna send it. Like, I mean, I just like the short track stuff, and we got there and practice, and we were like 20th or top 20 out of like 85 cars, and I tell people this all the time. Kyle Lawson beside us, he was pretty cool. And Bobby Pierce come down there, and him and his dad. And they were like, hey, Bobby Pierce. And I was like, hey, how you doing? He's like, look, you're in my qualifying. I want to make sure you get out of my way when we qualifying, because I'm pretty fast here. And I was like, okay. Like, I don't care who you are. I mean, I was like, whatever.
You can't be so fast if you in mine.
I mean, I was just like, whatever. So I didn't say no. I was like, okay, whatever. So anyway, we qualified. I mean, we ended up being like third fastest overall, like 85 cars. And it put us, I can't remember if we started inside or outside the heat race. And I led most of the heat race, and ended up getting in the hole. And when I hit the hole, it's kind of weird. I still don't know what happened for sure. I told my engine guy, I think something happened with a motor, because when I hit the hole, I had problems all weekend. You need to spin them cars through these holes. And if you don't spin them through the holes, it's just so rigid on the right rear. And I said, look, we got to take some right rear out of this thing. It's just jabbing this thing every time I go in the corner, and I can't turn it. I'm having to it's like riding a bull. Like, I don't know how to tell anybody how to drive a car at the dome, but it's like you riding a bull. I don't know what riding a bull is like, but it felt like that in a race car. If you got 850 horsepower in that SB2, you're turning that thing 9,800. I mean, for all it's worth. I mean, I'm talking about, like, I felt like I needed more motor. Same when it hit the hole, it basically, like, it almost stopped the motor for the most part, and it picked the front of the car up off the air, and the front of the car went in the fence, and it stuck the frame rail through the fence and bent the right front horn around. And then it turned over after that, which it wasn't that bad of a turnover. It wasn't really that bad of a wreck anyway, but I mean, it probably looked bad, but it was kind of slow motion to me. And I tell people this all the time. I was like, man, if you're upside down in a race car, it is tough to undo your seat belts, your helmet, because you're backwards, like you're backwards on everything. And I'm like, it's something like you need to practice, because I'm sitting there upside down. I'm like, God, I gotta get all stuff off, and I'm like trying to figure out how to get it off, because I'm thinking I'm right and I'm on the left side, but it was all slow motion. And so anyway, we just packed the car up and watched the rest of the races and all, and come home. But it screwed my we real cooked the car, and I just couldn't ever get the thing back dialed in. And after that,
well, buddy,
we
appreciate you being with us tonight. Thanks for spending some time with us, and keep us up to date on what you're doing with this late model. Maybe hopefully we'll run into you somewhere down along the way. Come on out to Langley and try to run out here one time.
Yeah, we talked to Mike about that too. That would be great. We're working on the website now. Hopefully we already got us BuddyOwlsRacing.com, but I got a marketing person helping me with that, so I get that up and launched, and I'll be able to keep everybody updated, scheduling. We got Facebook, YouTube, so I got all that. So we'll try to keep everybody posted.
All right, buddy, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot for your time, and good luck to you the rest of the way.
All right, thank you.
Thank you,
buddy.
man.
Thanks, man.
See you.
A lot of history in dirt racing there.
You ain't kidding. I'm gonna tell you something. I was thinking about it as we were talking with him. I remember those days. Buddy Isles, Montclair, Earl Arnold, all those old guys. Vic Story went up there and run at Brinkleyville. Spec Edwards, man, I'll tell you, it was fun. And when they go up there, they didn't care. They had fun when they were out there, and if you're going to get in the way of their fun, you in trouble.
Did you listen to some of the? I've seen some of the highlight videos. Dale Jr. download where they were talking to Tony Furr. I didn't know that him and Dale Sr. kind of came up together. It seemed like
I saw part of that. Yeah. I saw part of that. I didn't watch it all, but I watched part of it. That's pretty cool to see, the history that some of these people have with other people. And that's really cool.
And I seen Connor started watching Connor. Driver of the week this week, first one of the year. Man, I was impressed.
He definitely did a number on them out there, and
I was more impressed with the second race because I really didn't think he was going to be able to get back to the front and lead fairly early. Well, not fairly midway through the race and hold it.
That was a great race that week last weekend. So that's a pretty good deal. I know we had somebody that wants to argue a little bit.
Who's that?
I was gonna see if she was still around. We still got that Dominion thing that everybody wants to haul about.
She said that they are going to appeal it.
Well, I mean, I knew that. I saw that earlier today that they were going to appeal it. They didn't think it was,
Hey, Chase is a good little racer. I've been impressed when he was a little kid when we were doing arena racing, and then he did well in the kids, and then they jumped up and were running the adult class. Hey, I'm sure this is probably tough because this is his first win.
Yeah.
First, he won the no winners race a couple years ago, right? But look, he doesn't own the car, for one. And number two, how many times was Jimmy Johnson caught with something? We all push the limit. That's our job.
Yeah. Now I heard through the grapevine, but I'll just keep that to myself. I ain't gonna go there with that, but yeah, they're going to appeal it, and good luck to them. But I heard he was really quick, and when you're out there outrunning Peyton Sellers by 2/10.
Yeah, but that ain't just a carburetor. I mean, from my understanding, that's what they deemed illegal or whatever it was. That ain't all of it. I mean, there's little things that we pushed the issue on are a little teeny bit here, a little teeny bit there. That one thing ain't didn't allow him to win.
Well, let's see. I don't think I don't know if she want to call in or not.
You think she's gonna call in and argue?
Well, she sent me a message.
Yeah, she sent us a message.
I got an independent message also.
Oh.
But anyway, but that's our show for tonight. Hope everybody enjoyed. I mean, I enjoyed the diversity that we had here tonight with the cook.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one of the neater guys that we've come in contact with in our time and going to the races.
It's good to know people that cook for other people.
Yeah, it is, and we've been very fortunate in that regard that we've been able to latch on to some.
And a lot of that we owe to Andrew. We've been eating at Andrew's for a good while, and Andrew leads us on to a lot of people. And we appreciate that.
And and I'm gonna say it. I miss Spanky. That was a lot of fun just to hang around with Spanky and hear him talk to people. That was a lot of fun to do that. But anyway,
but Showman has a similar personality.
Yeah, he does.
Because it was funny because we were talking and he was telling us how people would just show up and just start grabbing food, and he's like, I don't mind if they just ask. He said, but some of them they'll just grab something. They're like, thank you, you're welcome. And they're like, what? Thank you and you're welcome. so he's like, I wouldn't mind if you did ask him. Well, yeah, I'll get you something, but you just come over here and take it. And
Yeah, I remember hearing some stories about stuff like that.
and Spanky would say stuff like that too.
Yeah. Spanky didn't care. He said, "Hey, what you doing?
Yeah.
Where you come from?"
Right.
Anyway, that's our show for tonight. I hope you share and like our show because it was a good one tonight. Vincente Salas, I think is what he said. Salas. I said Salah. I mean, I didn't know what to say to start with, but anyway, he had a great check that in a minute. He had a great race down there, and then Buddy Isles Jr., one of those great guys that we've been around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, next week's show: Jared Satterley, Amanda Satterley, Mason Dunn.
What? You're gonna let Mason come on?
I'm going to let Mason come on.
What are you feeling?
I didn't say I was going to let him sit. I just said I was going to let him come by here. But
Wow.
Mason Dunn and Rick Paust.
Hey, he passed tech this weekend.
I know, and after qualifying, they told him to take it around there and want to check his car, but he wouldn't do it. I ain't gonna tell you what he said. Anyway, all right. Well, that's our show for tonight. Hope everybody enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next week.
Thanks, guys.